The question hits me like a sledgehammer. We're in the kitchen and my mom and sister are having a heated argument about clothing. My sister has tied the bottom part of her shirt into a knot and now her belly is showing. My mom doesn't agree with her style and asks me, "Don't you want to grab a girl who is dressed like that?" And for a while, the sound of my deafening silence is unbearable. I am only 8 years old. I can tell my mom means well, but I know my answer to that question is no. I don't dare to challenge my mom, so I mumble something inaudible and they continue arguing. I don't know how it ends. I am 8 years old. For the first time in my life, I remember being complicit in rape culture. We're in the boys' dressing room of the swimming pool where we have finished our training session. The older boys are getting rowdy and the conversation turns to sex. "Whoever's silent is still a virgin," one of the oldest boys exclaims, and I stare at the floor, don't say a word as they're making fun of all the kids who are dead silent. Most of them are still wet behind the ears, no more than 15 years young. I know they are wrong. How can you make fun of kids being virgins, and why am I the one feeling ashamed and not them? But instead of blaming them for messing with our heads, I get dressed as fast as I can, dry myself off with a towel of self-loathing, wear my shame like clothing that fits perfectly. I am 15 years old and I have just learned an important lesson in the boys' dressing room. Boys will be boys. Unless you have lots of sex, then you become the man who won't be made fun of anymore. And I internalized that lesson. Lying in my bed with my girlfriend, we're making out. She wants to take it further, I don't. You see, I'm still a virgin and don't feel ready yet to have sex. She insists and insists and insists. And for a split second, I'm running through all the options, all the choices I have in this moment, then a voice takes over. "You're supposed to like it. You're supposed to like it. Dude, you're supposed to like it. Come on, man, you're supposed to like it. Fuck it, you're supposed to like it." And so I man up, get undressed, and we have sex. I know I should feel proud and happy in this moment, but in truth, I feel disgusted. This isn't lust, love, nor desire. We finish, I don't, she doesn't either. Neither one of us says a word. It hurts to pretend. I am 17 years old. I have just lost my virginity, but more importantly, I have lost my innocence. I have become the embodiment of toxic masculinity. The train station is a chaos, and it seems that I'll be stranded in a foreign city. My local friend offers to host me at her place, and instantly my concerned face turns into a smile. You see, she and I, we have a history. We arrive at her apartment, have dinner with her friends, and end up in her bed. She turns the lights off, and I put my arm around her and try to kiss her. She pulls away, turns the lights back on, and says, "Why do you grab me like that in the dark?" She doesn't seem angry. Rather empowered in her decision to confront me. She's not letting this one slide. I have nowhere to hide. I know I am guilty. I don't remember how I replied to her question, as if my mind tries to hide an ugly truth the same way society chooses to erase women's identities from our histories. Unimportant. We continue talking, and she is teaching me an important lesson that doesn't register yet. We fall asleep in her bed the next morning. After a pleasant breakfast, she takes me to the train station where we say goodbye. I am 24 years old, and I feel more entitled to her body than she is to a no. I am 24 years old, and I have become rape culture. You see, men, real talk. Rape culture isn't only about men raping. Rape culture is men justifying sexual harassment as just flirting. Rape culture is men condoning other men's oppressive behaviors. Rape culture is 30 women attempting suicide every day, and every week 3 women escaping their abusive fate by taking their own lives. And us men, we don't bother learning about these statistics, so our count is always 0. Rape culture is ignorance is bliss. Rape culture is the men in the poetry slam scene not proactively organizing unconscious bias and anti-harassment workshops after years of sexual harassment and sexual assault because we believe that we are the good guys and it's just a few bad apples. Rape culture is a joke that isn't funny. Rape culture is silence. Rape culture is men not wanting to admit that we have a problem with toxic masculinity. Rape culture is not a shark. It's the water in which we all swim. And while I personally don't know any known rapists, and most of you probably don't know any known rapists, right? But I know men whose hands have become too big for their lovers' hearts. I know men whose fingers have become choke chains, silencing their lovers' voices. I know men whose words have become poison, drowning the life out of their lovers' eyes. I know men whose sense of entitlement is bigger than their sense of responsibility, and I know myself all too well. I am 24 years old. Should have kept my hands to myself. I should have asked her for consent. I'm 17 years old. I should have told my girlfriend, I don't feel ready yet to have sex. Maybe next week, maybe tomorrow, but not today. I am 15 years old. I should have confronted them macho boys with their toxic bullshit. I am 8 years old. And I should have told my mother, instead of policing my sister's clothing, Perhaps you should be teaching me how to behave around girls who are dressed like that. But I never said anything. I remained silent, and my silence has allowed violence of men to grow louder in volume every day. We men need to assume our responsibility. We have to educate ourselves. We have to look in the mirror. We have to confront our biases. We have to dismantle the patriarchy. We have to talk about toxic and healthy masculinity, because, while her no will always mean no, my silence, your silence, our silence always mean yes.